Thank you so much for joining us live, or if you're watching the recording of this session. Thank you so much for choosing to tangle along with us and hang out with us today. We're gonna wait for Debbie to join me. Debbie is with me in the 7F5R studio while Susan is connecting from home. So give us some time to set up. Give us some time to set up, yeah. So, hi Susan, hi Debbie.
Hello.
Even though I've already said hi to Debbie. Yeah, so as with all of these sessions, if this is the first time you're joining us, usually the three of us, I'm Stephanie, Debbie, and Susan, we just hang out and we work on the 7F5R Tea and Tangle or Tangle of the Day prompt. This week, we featured the tangle InaFlux, which is a tangle by Debbie. Yeah, and before Debbie shows us how to step out, how to draw InaFlux, Susan, do you want to share the materials that you have, and then maybe Debbie also can share, and then I'll share. Yeah?
Okay. Today I'm going to use the black Zentangle, but actually I did something on this black Zentangle, but I'm not sure whether you can see it from screen. I actually used the brush pen to color on the black. So probably later I will use the cherry roll to draw on it, and it might come out with some different colors. Yeah.
Today special. Debbie was saying later must show us how to draw today's string, cause last week you ponteng. Last week never come. So later must show the string. Okay, we let Debbie share what materials she's using today, and I invite everyone to also pick up a tile and some pens so that you can tangle along with us. Yeah.
Hi. Hope you can hear me.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi, Susan. Welcome back. So I have a couple of regular size. These are Fabriano Typolo tiles. These are the 7F5R ones, but they are the same size as the Zentangle ones. I'll probably use a regular tile today. On my desk, you can actually see a couple of sketchbooks. So today we're gonna do InaFlux. So this is why I have my sketchbook here so that I can show you the step outs in a bit. So I have just a simple Pigma pen 05. So this we call the apprentice pen. It's a black one. Actually, I don't think they do this in other colors, but yeah. So I have a Koh-i-Noor graphite stick. This is actually a clutch pencil, but I haven't actually tried to click on it yet, so we'll see how it goes. So I just have these two items right now, but I might supplement depending on how much time I have with koi brush pens. So Susan, do you want to talk about, Stephanie has to show us her tools, I think.
Yeah. Debbie forgot about me. It's okay. I took up a very, very old towel from my stash. This one was it's not I do one. This one is Debbie very nicely do. I think she used, was it black acrylic? No, it was Diller, no, not Diller.
No, Winsor Newton.
Winsor Newton, there we go. Winsor Newton, those ink pots. So there's
Indian ink.
yeah, Indian ink, and then the gold is also from the pots. You can see it's very pretty. Somewhere. Debbie's going to try to hunt it in one of our cupboards. Yeah. But anyways, this was from one of the project pack ideas where Rick and Maria would splash inks on paper and then tangle in black and white.
Project Pack 06.
Debbie is very, very good with memory. She says Project Pack 06. So you want to check it out, you can go check it out. I'm going to try to use this tile. This is on a 7F5R round Zentangle. So it's slightly smaller than a regular size Zentangle. And then I have my trusty 05 micron, and then I'll see how it goes. Yo! we found the ink pot, like it's like bottled up nicely. Don't know what they can see. Yeah. So yeah, we wrapped it. Then we had the transfer. Winston and Newton ink, the Indian ink, you can see. So it comes in like a little pot with a dropper at the top. Very funny. Oh, it comes in 3 sizes, that he says. Yeah.
This is the medium one.
Oh, this is the medium one that he says. Okay.
The smaller one doesn't have a dropper.
Oh, the smaller one is just a flat top, don't have dropper. Okay, so if you're joining us live, to take up a tile. If you're watching the recording of this session, yeah, tile, any size, any shape, any color, or just tinted or black and white, then you can tangle along with us as we draw. Yeah, Susan, would you like to share the string for today's session?
Yes. Okay. For today's string, instead of drawing the string, I give you 2 words. Arch times 2. What will you think that when you see this thing?
Susan very creative.
Okay. So today's string is you need to draw 2 arch on your tiles. Okay. So it depends on you that how you are going to draw your arch. Okay. Maybe you want to have this something like this one. I think it's Stephanie says, right? Like a rainbow. You can draw in this way. Yeah. Then you turn to the other side, it's something like a C or a U. Okay, so it depends on how you're going to draw your arch. Okay. Okay, so today I'm going to draw on this one, the Zendala. So I just draw my 2 arch here. Okay, so next, what's next? After the string?
I came up with a few different ideas also. Can be like this, can be crisscross, can be like bird,
Oh, yeah.
can be rainbow. Oh, yeah, okay. So, Debbie, InaFlux, how to step up? You teach us, come.
Right, so InaFlux basically is a tangle that is mostly organic tangle, I think. It's actually a tangle based off, hang on, I've just got too many books here, I'm like struggling. Yeah, so InaFlux is based off on the Zentangle in pattern called Flux. So Flux looks like a upside down teardrop shape. It actually uses a bit of drawing behind. So you put down your first flux, and then in step 2, you start drawing behind the original shape, and then you grow petals over to connect the shape. Does that make sense? And then you get something that looks like a tulip or a rosebud or a bud. Yeah, and then you can embellish it. So I'm going to show you how to actually draw it step by step. But before I do that, I just wanted to show you a couple of tiles. So I manually zoom in. This is What's Its tile done in black and white with no shading. It has InaFlux, LunarFlux, Moonberries, Staghorn, and I think that's Amarin. And also Tidy Up. And then there's another tile that I have here. It's also a What's Its tile. So on this tile, you can actually see several kinds of InaFlux. I say several kinds because I think there are at least 2 kinds. You can actually draw it like you would draw a Haemodox. So I'll kind of show you this variation later. This is the Haemodox version. And then this is drawing it in a linear, drawing it behind, like kind of like a linear way to draw it. This is paired with Hollies, and I think it's Ninja Stars. Okay, let me just get rid of this sketchbook for a while. And then I have more here. So I'm not sure how you can see it clearly. Yeah, so there you go. This is having it drawn in a curve or an arch, kind of a bit like today's string. And then having it drawn linear, and then this is another Haemodox. So with InaFlux Haemodox, you can actually choose how many sides you want. So these couple of InaFluxes with Haemodox, this one has 3 sides. This one also has 3 sides. The other one that I showed you has actually got 5 sides, I think, if my memory serves. That's my page. Okay, yeah, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got 6 sides. Right. Steph, do you want to show us how to draw the normal InaFlux? Then I'll show the Hemodox InaFlux.
3 sides and 6 sides very different at the beat. Okay, come. Now pick out your pen.
You're drawing the normal.
Okay. No, I just thought it was funny. 3 sides and then, oh no, we can 6 sides. Alright, so you have a rough piece of paper, or you can use also the back of your towel. We're going to just draw InaFlux, just the normal version. So InaFlux by Debbie New. Yeah, you have your pen. I have my pen. So it's kind of like a flower bloom. So you start off with an upside down water drop shape. Zoom you in a little. Upside down water drop shape. Give it a friend on either side. And then you can add a few more. And then we're going to start growing it upwards. So the upside down water drop shape will go here and here. Sometimes your water drop shapes don't quite link up. So you can add a little orb, little oval shape to close it. And then Debbie likes to fill the inside of her InaFlux with lines. You can add rounding to the top of these lines as well to give it a sort of finished look, I guess. You can also fill the inside of your InaFlux with other tangles. So for example, you could put one of Debbie's other tangles. I think this is very cute. You can add a cabbit inside. So it's like a little rabbit that's sitting inside the flower, or a mouse, depending on how you see it. Or a gribbit, yeah, that's the frog version of it. So it's just, you're just adding flux shapes to it. So you can of course embellish it. So line dot dot, to make it like a real flux. You can also add a little flourish. Yeah, you can do a lot of things with it. Yeah. Hello to everyone who's just joined us. Good morning, Tira. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Please pick out a tile of your choice and tangle along with us. Today we are focusing on the Tangle InaFlux by Debbie New. It is the Tangle of the week for Tangle of the day. Yeah, Tangle of the day for the 7F5R Challenge Facebook group. You can find the group at this link, bit.ly/FB7F5R. Yeah, back to you, Debbie. Do you want to show the fancy version of InaFlux?
Well, I'm not sure if this is the fancy version, but this is what we call Hemodox. So Hemodox, I can't spell it, versus InaFlux. Right, so Hemodox, InaFlux. So when you start out Hemodox, the name itself gives you a kind of like a insight into what we're drawing, because it's actually a cross between Hemel and Paradox. But before, without going too deeply into where it goes, or rather how it starts to cross, I'm just going to show you that actually Hemodox can start with a minimum of 3 sides, all the way to like maybe 6 or 7 sides, or even 8 sides. But we're just going to use the 3-sided one first, and then you can decide how many sides you want for your own tile. So how we draw Hemodox is kind of like adding fluxes to the outside of a shape, flux petals. And then on the inside, you know how Paradox works. You just keep going, right? Like that. So instead of doing that, you can actually add a curved line. So I'm just going to start out with this one and connect to this one. And so this is the inside of your Hemodox. And then to cross it with InaFlux, you actually bring out the petals again. And then you have like a mini little InaFlux. And then I'm going to add petals to this one too. bring out from the center. That's your second InaFlux, and then I'm going to add a petal just to balance it up. And of course, you can add more petals if you find that it's a bit flat. I'm just doing a quick demo here, or you can even turn your towel to help you get around to the sides. Actually, that is better, but I don't know why I'm not doing it. Maybe I should. Yeah. So there you go. You can actually embellish as you go, or you can sort of fill it in and then wait until you are ready to embellish. I think I have a better example than my current one. Oh, I have another one here. I have another example here. So this is InaFlux and LunaFlux, but it's not the Hemodox one that I was looking for. Hang on. This is the problem with having too many sketchbooks. Yeah, there you go. So this one, this is how it looks like. So I've actually embellished it with a gem inside of the negative space, but you can choose to either add little dots like that, or you can add lines. Do I have any other examples? Steph likes to add cabbage, but it depends on how big or small your InaFlux is, because you may or may not have space. So maybe you might want to try to draw it larger the first time, and then you can decide on the kind of embellishments that you want. I think I don't have any more here. Not in this sketchbook. So, oops. So I'm going back to my towel. I started out a lone InaFlux here. So my plan is to go all around the arch with this simple single bloom. And I might do a Hemodox version here, depending on how much space I have left. So I'm just going to tangle casually as we talk and answer questions. So back to you, Steph.
Who's going to ask questions? Susan, last week you ponteng. This week must come out with questions.
Huh? You didn't tell me earlier.
It's a pop quiz now. I'm just kidding. Hello everyone who's in chat saying hi to us. We appreciate you being here. I'm just teasing Susan because last week she couldn't make it to the live session. We have these every week. If this is your first time joining us, yeah, and if you are rushing off someplace, or you're having an early day or late night, we have these videos recorded and available at 7 Forests 5 Rivers, so you can always watch them at a later time. Yeah, I'm just joking, Susan. I got questions. I got questions written up. Okay, let's start with something easy. Going down my yes, this is an easy question. What is your favorite color scheme to work with? What kind of colors do you like working with, Susan?
You mean on drawing the tiles?
As opposed to what, wearing? I mean, you want to answer that question also can. So cute.
Still, my preference I think is the black one. Because it's very simple and very basic.
Then what color do you like to wear?
What color I like to wear? I think recently not recently, it's I think these few years, I like to wear color.
Oh, okay. I see you wear a lot of neutral colors, like browns or beige.
But I think many years ago, I love red color. And I remember that there's a Chinese New Year shopping before the Chinese New Year. I bought a red jacket and red color pants like crazy. But I think that time I just wear for a few months. I cannot wear it anymore because it's too bright. And like,
so sad.
And see
Everyone is to see you in February. Wow, still in Chinese New Year mood.
Ang Pao coming out.
Yeah. So funny. Debbie, you leh?
What's the question though?
She been confused on my answer.
The question is, what's your favorite color scheme to work with?
But it sounds like Susan is wearing clothes, not working with. So what's your favorite color scheme to dress up or what?
Both lah, both. She said
Oh.
she asked, so after I said both.
Because my answer will be very different depending on whether I'm working with it or wearing it, see. So I think when I work with colors, I like very bright colors. I think, well, right now I'm thinking of Lindy's Gang and Summer Break and all the brighter colors on the spectrum. But that's if I'm working with it, but I'm not going to wear that kind of colors. I don't have like I was telling Steph, I don't have a single pink thing in my wardrobe. I don't even have pink underwear. Yes, I have pink nails for like the first time in like don't know how many years, probably a decade or more. Yeah. Anyway, so I like black and blue a lot when I dress. Black, blue, and grey, maybe. I like red also. So actually, my whole cupboard is black, blue, grey, and red, or rather, just spots of red. It's mostly black, blue, bits of grey. Yeah. So in terms of drawing, I think I already answered that. And then in terms of dressing, I'm kind of very boring. So I have this one dress which I happen to be wearing today. that it's like a bit more colorful than my usual. So it's like a navy blue, with pink flowers, and that is the most pink you'll ever see me wearing. And I think that's I've been wearing this dress so often that I've made a mental note not to wear this dress on purpose, because for a time all my selfies or all my wifis or all my photographs pictured me in this dress, and then it looks like I have no other clothes. Well, I've made it a mental. I think Susan knows which dress I'm talking about. Yeah, because I'm wearing it so often, right? Yeah, but today I'm wearing it again because I just didn't want to use my brain to think. It's been a very stressful week, so I just when you don't want to use your brain to think, you just pick safe colors, right? So it's a safe dress, bright enough, like not mournful, not anything, right? So yep, I hope that answers the question.
Currently, last time when I was younger, I thought like that. Last time when I was in my early 20s or like teenage years, I like to wear white a lot. I think I was influenced by my mom. She loves wearing white. Then I transitioned to wearing a lot of blues, and then now like Susan and Debbie, I have quite a few red outfits I realized in my wardrobe. And then this year I've been adding a lot of yellow pieces to my collection because I think the yellow is a happy color and I like it. And then a funny story that I have is when you ask my daughter what's her favorite color, she'll say yellow. To which I reply, yeah, mommy's favorite color is also yellow. Then she's like, no, cannot share. It's my favorite color. So it's like, she feels that everyone has to have a designated favorite color. So Papa likes blue. I'm supposed to apparently like pink or purple. And then one of her grandmothers supposed to like green, the other one's supposed to like orange. So yeah, they all have designated favorite colors, not allowed to deviate from it. So in my art, I think I do use quite a bit of bright colors as well. Yeah, not as much yellow actually. More pinkish, reddish hues. Yeah, interesting to see that what we like in our art might not actually translate to a personal preference in our art, in our wardrobe, in our personal lives, and it does not quite match up. So that was an interesting question. For those of y'all who are joining us live, please pop your answers in chat. We'd love to chit chat with you. Yeah, and then for those of y'all who are watching a recording, leave a comment. We love interacting with you guys and love to hear your thoughts. And you have any questions, be it personal or creative questions, you can always ask them. We're very open. We love interacting with you guys. Yeah, that's why we have these live sessions. All right, let's get into a slightly more difficult question. Oh dear. Some CZTs say that the Zentangle method is a lifestyle. Do you agree with that sentiment? Yeah.
It's a what? Lifestyle.
lifestyle. Yeah, so it's like something that you do daily or weekly, and then you incorporate it into your daily life. Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you agree with the idea? Who wants to answer this question first? I open the floor. I go mute myself. Debbie, you can unmute yourself if you want.
I do
Debbie?
agree that it is a lifestyle. I agree it's a lifestyle because if you choose to do Zentangle and if you commit to doing one piece every week, you'll find that your outlook on life slowly changes. So I know people who say that they like to draw, but then they don't make time to draw. Does that make sense? So you can't say you like something and then not make time for it and then expect it to become a lifestyle. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like saying I like to read. Then if I say I like to read, then it follows like, oh, what books have you read so far? And then you go like, no lah, I just read online, like articles or news. I mean, that's not liking to read. I mean, you like to stay in touch, right? But I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that that is a wrong approach though. But it's just, when you like something a lot like Zentangle, it's natural to sort of gravitate to doing a little bit every day, I think, and then therefore it becomes your lifestyle. So I know some people who find it very difficult to commit to tangling a little bit every day. I've tried to do that this year. It's not easy because there are so many things going on, right? I mean, everyone's juggling a lot these days. So I try to make do with whatever time I have on hand. Sometimes I start tiles and then it takes me a long time to finish. And then sometimes I start tiles and then I find that the going is easy and I am able to complete them. So I would say yes, it's a lifestyle. One that you very much have your own say in terms of directing. There are some people who use it as self-directed therapy. Just to make themselves, feel calmer. It's something like a go-to for them. Like some people do yoga, some people do Pilates, or some people bake, right? So it's easy to sort of incorporate into like maybe 5 minutes of your day or maybe half an hour. So I get a lot of people who say that it's so difficult to make time. Where do you find the time to tangle? And at that point in time, I was also working, and I can tell you it's also not easy. But I used to keep a towel by my bed, so I have like just a towel and a pen, and then before I go to sleep, I just doodle a little bit or tangle a little bit, and then I just put it aside for the next day, or sometimes it's the next day, sometimes it's the next week, but it's still something. And then having it somewhere where you can see it helps because then you can decide to hop in at any time.
Someone in chat says, yes, I think so. Tira says she thinks so. Susan, you leh? Do you think it's a lifestyle?
I agree with that. And also not only CZT might have this kind of lifestyle. A lot of people who love Zentangle, like what I noticed that some of my students, they actually draw every day. So when it become a habit to draw, it's something like just like every day you want a cup of coffee, or maybe you want to have a chocolate. It's something like a habit that make you have a energetic day. Yeah, it's just like the vitamins, I think. Yeah, to prevent you suddenly, maybe all of a sudden you become very anxiety or what. So make it become a habit is very good. But for myself, actually, there's a time that I tangle every day. But when when work's getting busier, then somehow maybe every 2 days I would draw. Yeah, I'll just try to make myself to draw even a little bit on a video. Yeah, so to keep the momentum actually.
I
About
think I
Steph?
think I think also some people mistake the idea, like they attend a Zentangle class, and then most of the intro classes they are minimally an hour long. So I think some, especially new tanglers, they might think like, oh, every time I sit down and draw, it must be that I have an hour to draw in order to create Zentangle art. But I don't think that is necessary. It can just be like Debbie said, like Susan said, it can just be something very quick, like visual tile, just 10 minutes, you start something, then you set it aside, then every day you work on it, you know? So it becomes a lifestyle in the sense that it's something that you go to every day to refresh yourself on it. And I also think the Zentangle method teaches you a lot about life, like the idea that there are no mistakes, you know, how do you see opportunities in what you've chosen? And then the idea that you cannot, there's no right or wrong way to do things, you know, it's just your way of doing it, and then you see where you go from there. So in that way, you know, it is a lifestyle. I think all of us also answered the part two to this question. So for those of you who are just joining us, the question I asked is, some CGTs say that the Zentangle method is a lifestyle. Do you agree with that sentiment? And the part two of this question was, if you do agree with the sentiment, that means you agree that the Zentangle method is a lifestyle, how do you incorporate Zentangle into your daily life? Yeah, so I think we did answer that question as well. For those of you who are joining us live, or even you're joining us via the recording, leave us your comments in the comments section. How do you incorporate the Zentangle method into your daily life? Would love to see what how you tangle, you know, maybe on a daily or weekly basis. Maybe we can learn something from it. Yeah.
Actually, I
Yeah.
suddenly know something.
Yeah.
Actually, before the Zentangle, I already have this kind of lifestyle during my school time. When the teacher teach in front, or the lecturer talk in front, then I just draw something in my textbooks or my workbook. So that one is
That one
already
is a
like,
That was a bad example of how to
doodle.
incorporate it. Yo, this one is ask all other people. You know, when your boss having meeting with you, just draw lah. when you study, just draw lah. No, it's okay. So cute.
So I actually realized that I have a couple of pieces with hammer dogs that I might want to fish out, and these are very ancient. I think Steph will laugh at me when I pick them up. See? So these ones, you see? This was like a pair. So I have the twin here. So these were traveling tangle tiles, I think, right, Steph? Yeah. So we kind of we kind of treated it differently, where this one was sprayed with acrylic. So I think I did the spraying because I think the colors are something very familiar. So I think I did the spraying, and then Steph put in the hammer dogs. As you can see, she tangles really big, right? And then the smaller ones are all me. So this one is also where Steph put in her hammer dogs. And then this one was treated, I think this is before Project Pack 6 though. What do you think, Steph? I think this was probably before the Project Pack came out. But it is drawn in actually the same style as the Project Pack, or similar to similar style to the Project Pack. Yeah. So these are old
But how come
examples.
your hammer dogs with the glossy look? What do you did on that?
Oh, that you mean this one, is it? The shiny surface.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Podge. I think it's Podge Dimension. So it dries 3D. So
I
it gives you an
see.
embossed look. But then it's really tricky when it's drying. Sometimes it ruins the whole piece. You can ask Steph. I think we have some in our studio. You can borrow it. I brought mine home. I think the studio has a couple. And then I realized I have another one here. So I have this little, not so little, big piece. Maybe I should zoom out. Hang on. Oops. How do I zoom out? Okay. Did I get it right? Okay. Yeah. So can you see that I have this huge, it's kind of like slightly smaller than an opus, but it's bigger than my other piece. So yeah, so this piece was a round Zentangle that Steph made for me on one of my birthdays on paper that she had taken from me, no less. And then you can see that there are a couple of hammer doxes. At that point in time, I don't think InaFlux existed yet. Huh, Steph? Yeah, so you can see a bigger one and then a smaller one. So this is also quite ancient.
Segue into my next question. For those of you who have just joined us, hi! Yeah, we're just casually tangling. I don't know how to speak today. We're just casually tangling the pattern by Debbie New. It's called InaFlux. It's based on the Tangle Flux. Here are the step outs to it for those of you who have just joined us. And we're using a sort of rainbow kind of string, or as as Susan said, a 2-arc string. That's not how it was posed to us the last week. She was like, yeah, rainbow. I was like, oh, rainbow. Okay, great. Rainbow string. Yeah, for those of you who are just joining us, hello. Yeah, and my next question to Debbie and to Susan and to everyone who's just joining us live as well. What's the largest Zentangle art piece that you've done?
Before Susan answers the question, a rainbow is also an art, Steph.
How, Susan?
And a double rainbow as well.
Double rainbow. Okay, the biggest
Oh,
size.
Susan, I look
I
up
need-
suddenly. I see your tile so nice. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I think I started. I'm trying to do a A3 size, but I didn't complete it. So that one cannot consider.
Is that what it's called trying to do?
Yeah,
trying to do.
do.
Don't know what I don't do. Yeah, the reason why this question came out was because Yudika Boyd, she's one of our friends. Yeah, she did this humongous, long, giant artwork that she's going to put out and display in one of the libraries near her. So I thought to ask, like, entire Zentangle, the lifetime, I guess you could call it. What's the largest artwork? Debbie, what's the largest artwork you've done?
Well, actually, we have a pair of. Oh, okay. So I'm going to bring you around our studio. See.
Today has a very beautiful sky. Hello.
Yeah, and it's also very hot. So this is Stephanie, and you see how she's sitting with her legs wide open. I don't know why. Can you not do that on camera? Yeah. So, can you see at the? Maybe I'm standing at the wrong. Yeah, maybe this is a slightly better way. So we have this couch in the studio. It's from my house actually, and we have a couple of pieces. So it's actually 2 pieces, but it's acrylic on canvas, and I think it is Pentel. It's not Pentel. What's the gold inks there? Pentel. Yeah, it's Pentel because we had at that point we hadn't got the Sakura. Yeah, so this is a piece that we have actually not finished. We actually have not finished, but because of the way it's it also has InaFlux Hammer Dogs. Yeah. Was that why you asked this question, Steph? On purpose? Yeah, so it has InaFlux. I'll go closer. Can you see the InaFlux? It's actually quite big, if you can compare my hand. So then there is a Hammerdogs InaFlux. Excuse me. Oops. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So actually, Hammerdogs InaFlux was also a tribute to our friend Diana Schur. Hammerdogs is her tangle. Sorry to make you feel a bit dizzy. I hope none of you have traveling sickness. Yep.
I think, yeah, my biggest piece probably the one that Debbie showed you guys as well. But I also did like a workshop where I taught a workshop for a community center, and then the client's proposal was that they wanted multiple large canvases to be completed by people within the community, and then they were going to hang up the artwork as a community display at the end of the workshops. So yeah, we spent like... We did that together? Yeah. That's a different one as well. But mine was like 6 canvases long.
That one was also very long.
That was Halloween, yeah. That was three was it?
I think it was this size.
Yeah. So yeah, canvas I think is the way to go.
It was one that I would play.
I should maybe go and look for it. Yeah. Tira mentioned in chat the largest piece that she's done is the sun and the moon during the Inktober Tangles challenge. So yeah, that's fun. Inktober is lots of fun. I think it's a lot easier also to like create larger pieces when you have a prompt to follow, or like if you start one place and then slowly move outwards. I think the issue is when it's large, it's very tedious to finish because there's so much space. Susan? Very difficult to finish. Then you're like very sian, like tired already. Don't want to do it. Forget it. Yeah. So large artworks fun once in a while, not so fun on a weekly, daily basis. Very difficult to finish. Maybe like Hira said, should do like during a monthly challenge. Speaking of which, in January 2022, we're a month away from the Fragment of Your Imagination challenge. Yeah, so it's nicknamed FYIC, Fragment of Your Imagination Challenge, FYIC 2022. Yeah, and Debbie has made this very nice handout. Yeah, and you can download it to join this challenge. It's free. You can just join us as we tangle one fragment each day of January. And then we'll love to see what you can come up with during the challenge. So if you enjoyed Inktober Tangles, join us for FYC. We'll love to see what you create. All right. Next question. What's your favorite drink? Susan, Debbie currently looking for the Halloween drawing we did with the community. So you're going to answer this question first, Susan. What's your favorite drink?
Was coffee.
Coffee.
Yes.
Do you take your coffee like black, or do you add things to it?
I prefer with milk.
Oh, with milk. Debbie, is coffee also your favorite drink?
No. I actually like tea. So I started out as a tea lover, and then because I had to take Chinese herbal medicine. So I've been on Chinese herbal medicine for the past 6 years, maybe not 6 years, maybe 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So because when you drink tea, it's like you are detoxing your body. So the idea is that if you're on herbal medicines, it's better not to have tea in your system as well. So I made the switch to coffee, but I actually do like tea better. I think my most drunk is the water though. Yeah, my most drunk. My most drank. My most well, yeah, I drink water the most. Yeah, English is hard. Yeah, so when I met Steph, I was just so horrified at how much sugar she was drinking. And it's a true story. Yeah. So she is forever drinking something sweet, and then I'm forever like, trying to live as healthy as possible. Yeah.
I have this funny story that I just remembered. One time Debbie and I were out having lunch. Then I bought like this like really sugary chocolate drink, and then Debbie probably bought either like coffee or tea. And then the waitress kid comes over with like the 2 cups of drinks, and then she looks at me, and she looks at Debbie, and then she immediately places the chocolate drink in front of me, and then she's like, yep, you look like the kind of person that would probably drink this. So, yeah, I remember it. I saw it. Remember, I can't remember, but I remember that. I don't remember, but I remember the incident. Debbie's like, where was it? Singwang? Was it Singwang? It was a while back already.
Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe it happened when I wasn't there.
Poor thing. I like chocolate drinks. That answers the question. I like chocolate. Why am I an ant? Oh, I like sugar. Debbie's saying I'm an ant. Why am I an ant? Oh, Debbie finally found it. Okay, she's going to show you.
Oh, I forgot to unmute myself just now. So this is us working on a piece with people in the community, and I was just saying that this was how it looked like in the end. So five pieces. I thought we had a spare though. So it was like five and then we had one blank, right? Yeah, so we planned for six, I think. But then there was only enough to go around because people were leaving and stuff.
I keep forgetting. Yeah, Debbie just now forgot to unmute herself. So I was just talking to her at the studio. And then now I forgot to unmute myself. I was just saying we've completed that project in one day with the community, so that was insane. The one that I remembered was held over multiple weeks. Very nice. So it's held over multiple weeks. This is when our studio was in Debbie's house, basically. So it's her living room. Look like show flat, huh? Very nice, huh?
Only this picture.
Only this picture, besides all like
No,
jabalan.
without the fur.
Without the fur, yes. Didn't throw all the fur away. For
Yeah,
those
so
of
when
you,
the studio moved here, the couch came
yeah,
with the studio.
yeah. So now it's studio, it's same painting, same couch. The cushion's different a bit. Yeah,
One of
some
it
of
is
the
the
cushion.
same though.
Yeah, one of it's the same.
And the smaller one.
I cannot see the small one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite funny. Remove all of it. Alright, so I don't know how far along you are on your talk. My goodness, Susan is like mega fast. Debbie, how are you?
Obviously, I'm nowhere.
Can zoom in a bit, then can see what you're doing.
I'm nowhere near completion,
sorry.
having to look for this and that on my feet and how many years back it was. So I still have a long way to go.
For those of you who are just joining us, hello there. We usually have these lives every Wednesdays at 2:45 p.m. Singapore time. And then we spend these sessions just doing the 7F5R challenge Tangle of the Day prompts. This week, the Tangle feature is InaFlux. And then every week, Susan picks out a nice string for us. She's very good with that. So today's session, she picked a string with two arcs. So kind of like a rainbow, although you can draw it in different ways. Yeah. If you'd like to tag us on Instagram, we're at 7forest5 with us. Debbie is tangled.pursuits. I am halfpen_will draw. And Susan is susanyo.czt. You can also join our 7F5R Challenge Facebook group. We post weekly and bi-monthly challenges. So if you're the kind of person that likes to tangle often, weekly, daily, but you sort of need a little extra push to figure out what tangles to use, yeah, this group is perfect for you. A lot of people post their art. If you like to share your art, would love to see it. If you're feeling a little shy and don't want to share your art, that's fine too. You can always just join the group and hang out and just see what everyone else creates. Yeah, very inspiring to see all of the different artworks. I think even in this session, like these weekly Instagram live with Debbie and Susan and me, yeah, we start off with the same prompts, the tangle and the string. But then it turns out all of our thoughts always turn out looking so different. So it's always really nice to see how everyone's artwork looks when we're done. Yeah.
So what's your next question,
No.
Steph?
Forgot.
So what's your next question, Steph?
I'm always coming out with questions. I need to refill my questions list already. Later next week, no more questions already. My next question is, does your mood affect the kind of art that you create? Yo, why ask question and nobody reply one? What kind of friends are y'all?
Okay, I answer. I think it affect actually depends on the mood. If let's say is because that I have an experience that when my mood is not very good, then I draw something. After I finish it, I found that how come so messy, and I want to destroy the tile actually. Yeah. So, but when the mood is just nice, okay, then whatever I draw, actually I'll like it very much. So it really affect the end result of my trial.
Then Susan, along this line of question, for those of you who don't know, Susan is actually a certified neurographica teacher. In neurographica, they say that like you must like channel like negative emotions, right, into the starting part of the art, right? Is what I understand. Then there's the
Yes,
release.
in neurographical, they got different kind of what they call the algorithm. Actually, for the algorithm, the meaning is just like the steps. For different purposes, you use different set of steps to do. So what you mentioned just now is to release a negative emotion. Actually, for the emotion, there is no right or wrong, and there's not like there's a negative or positive, but we usually name it as negative emotion like stress, anxiety. Actually, those emotion that we are going to release while we are drawing the neurographical, we release it, then slowly use the rounding concept, then we like make it more harmony. Now this is the basic concept of the neurographical. And this new graphical is quite new in Singapore and Malaysia. Maybe I can say it's quite new in Asia country, but it is quite normal in Russia and also the US.
So then if is how do I phrase it? Is Debbie's laughing at me. It's like they don't say like, oh, it's a negative emotion, so they don't associate it as like, oh, it's an ugly painting to start with. It's just how you're currently feeling, then you draw, and then slowly you use rounding to sort of make it more.
Actually, the one we will not consider it as ugly painting, but it's something like a scribble kind of thing. Then with that scribble, they will draw the lines, what they call the neural lines, to extend it. Then slowly after the rounding, it will become, okay, at first the scribble is very messy. But after you extend the line and do the rounding, the messy you will find that it's more harmony and look nicer. Yeah. So during the process of you drawing the lines, actually we are in the sense that we tune our inner emotion and our inner energy to become more calm. And maybe some of the people after they finish the drawing, they will become very happy.
So it's like you trying to channel those supposedly perceived as like a negative emotion into something positive.
Yeah. Yeah, because you need to release that kind of emotion instead
Like art
of keep
therapy
it
lah,
inside.
basically.
Yeah, like art therapy. Yes. Because nowadays we tend to keep it in ourselves. Yeah. So we need to find some methods to release it out in a healthy way of release. but not scolding people, screaming. But screaming is okay actually if you don't disturb your neighbor.
Go to the ocean.
Yeah, it's like
Someone call Mata on you. Hello, got this crazy person in the beach. Debbie, you leh?
Actually, I think the purpose of neurographical is more to address a problem than to create art. Whereas Zentangle has a little bit of a more artistic origin, because I think neurographical is more research based, more psychiatric based. Okay, my probably bad choice of words, right, Susan?
actually they do have so-called the art side. Now, which means something they call the neuro art. It is emphasized on the art. But actually in the pure neurographical, they also end up with a very beautiful artwork. Oops, my kids wake up. Do you hear that?
Hi, Isaac.
So maybe it's time for me to offline.
She's running away because of all the questions that she has to answer.
Okay, you two continue, huh?
Okay, see you later, Susan.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Susan.
Bye.
So, Debbie, never answer question. What was the question? Oh, hold on. Yeah, man. Oh, yes. Does your mood affect the kind of art that you create? There we go.
I would like to say that I think that I have so many pieces lying around, created at so many different times, that actually my mood doesn't matter. Does that make sense? Because I have so many pieces that I've started at all kinds of different moods, that by the time I'm done with all of them, they kind of don't really look very different in terms of like whether I'm upset or not. But I must say that on Sundays, I tend to be more contemplative. And it comes out in stuff like that, where I actually put in more words than I usually would. That's what I've noticed so far. I don't know whether that's really to do with a mood. But by and large, I've been writing in more words than I have, I think, this year compared to last year and the year before. I don't think really the mood really affects me. It's more like I need to get away into the flow of things. So whatever mood I am in is sort of like an escape. Does that make sense? So I understand what Susan is also saying, where when she's really stressed and everything, sometimes you're not pleased with the outcome of the tile. I do go through that as well, but then I go through that on such a basis that I don't think. Oops. Sorry, my AirPod decided to fall out my ear by itself. Um, I think the mood is more of a distraction actually for me, because I have a lot of tiles that I want to complete, and I think my perseverance on the tile matters more than the mood I'm in, like what I want to achieve with the tile, a specific tile, especially when we have projects. So Steph and I are always working on projects, and then Susan has also experienced that with us. We always have new projects up our sleeves. We always have new ideas, and sometimes, in order to complete those things, I have a lot of to-do tiles. To-do lists. I have to-do tiles. So I have tiles to draw that are on my to-do list. So there are to-do tiles. Yeah. So. Yeah, Steph is laughing at me in the background in case you can't hear her. So to-do tiles are more task-based than mood-based. Does that make sense? Because you have an objective behind the tile. Even if the tile is abstract, or even if the string is decided, you have an objective. So therefore your mood doesn't really matter, because you are trying to work towards your objective. Whether or not you feel happy or sad, or it's just work lor, it's just something that you do, it's just a job. Of course, I'm saying it from a purely uh from a non-fancier, as a, you know, like a hobbyist fancier, right? As a non-hobbyist perspective, because when I say that, I only had that problem when I became a CDT. So before I was a CDT, I would say yes, my mood uh dictated the kind of art that I was able to produce. I produced a lot less work in terms of volume because I didn't have to, right? And then as I became a CDT, I have, well, to-do lists and to-do tiles and everything that's to do lah, right? So I think Steph can relate though. But I think Steph has been an artist longer than I have. So maybe her insight into this issue is going to be different from mine. But I would say that this year I think we produced more tangles and more and more projects and more kinds of classes and stuff than we ever did. Yeah, so it's been very productive. And of course, I think Steph is more mood based than I am. Uh I'll let her talk about that.
So, I picked art as a vocation at 14 years old. And what I realized is that when it's a job, and like Debbie says, some things have deadlines and all. Yeah, to-do tasks. So I say so many times, doesn't sound like a proper to do. Yeah, to-do tasks. Yeah, when it's a business, sometimes you just have to draw, and it might not be your best work, but it needs to be done. So having something is better than having nothing, you know? But then clients don't really care about, well, Tuesday you have a workshop or something. Or today I don't feel like drawing. Client doesn't care. They have like things to get done. You know, you need to like fulfill the project that you promised. So you kind of just have to push through it, you know. And then on a personal front, I do struggle with depression, and it's not been very bad for a very long time, so that's great. But I do go through like depressive slumps when like I just feel very unmotivated. Like I think a symptom of my own depression is that I feel like I don't want to do things that I usually enjoy doing. So like hanging out with family and friends, drawing art, creating art is a big one. So what I've realized is I just have to push through that slump in order to get out of that sort of depressive phase. So you just have to force yourself to create, and it might feel forced for a while. So sometimes it's just a couple of days, it's a short episode. Sometimes it's really long time, like weeks or months. But during those times, during the period of time when like you feel like, oh, I'm just like drawing for the sake of drawing, doesn't feel good. But once you get past it, then you feel a lot better, and then that's when you know, like, oh, okay, you know, things are picking up, and that's how you get out of it. Rather than in the past, I used to feel like, oh, I'm going through a depressive slump, I don't feel like drawing, so I'm just not going to draw. And that's not the solution, because then you just keep wallowing in that kind of energy where like, oh, everything's terrible and bad, and that's not very good, you know. It's even worse when you have a business, because you can't afford huge amounts of time. It's like if it's a really long depressive slump, you can't just not produce anything for months, right? So you just sometimes have to push through it. Yeah, so maybe on a personal level, you might relate, you know, and I know a lot of us have anxiety and depression. So sometimes the cure to artist block, or the cure to a depressive phase or episode, is just to push through that uncomfortable feelings, and eventually, you know, you come out on the other side and you feel better about it. But if you're just drawing for personal pleasure, like Debbie said, it is before I was a CZT and all, you know, I would say that my better artworks were usually produced during my happier days, obviously. I think there's this like concept with artists, like this romantic version of like, especially with depression and all, like they used to, it's like Van Gogh and all, they used to say like, oh, he was depressed, so he created such nice artwork. It's not true actually. Those nicest artworks that he created were when he was in a psychiatric facility where he was receiving the help that he needed. So a lot of people like romanticize the idea of like depression and all, like, oh, you know, you have to be suffering in order to be an artist. And I really resent the idea because I feel that, you know, artists deserve to be happy as well, and you don't always have to be a depressive mess in order to create good artwork. Yeah. That went a little deeper than I was expecting. Alright, let's try to lighten it up. My goodness. Debbie, do you have any current projects that you're working on? Do you want to share something else before we close this question?
Yeah, so I'm quite surprised that Stephanie is talking openly about her depression and her struggles and her perspective on all of this, because being her partner and being a close friend for like the past 5 years, well, I'm beginning to lose track of time, obviously. Yeah, so I've been firsthand watching her up close for some time now. It doesn't matter whether it's 4 or 5 years actually. But yeah, so she goes through many moods, and sometimes I come to the studio and I see her and I know that something has happened, you know? And I think I walked through a depressive stage in my early 30s as well. So in some ways I can relate, but in many other ways I can't, because I think we come from very different eras with 13 years between us. I wouldn't pretend to know everything that, you know, Steph is going through, but I do know some. And I think that for what it's worth, a lot of people don't think that they deserve to be happy. You know, it's not just artists, like Steph says. Because I think a lot of people think that happiness is so much tied to their work, so much tied to their performance, that they don't actually think that it's fine for them to be happy or fine for them to be contented, or, you know, there are a lot of expectations in society, and sometimes we convince ourselves that we have to sort of compromise or sacrifice certain ideals. So I'm not sure why Stephanie agreed to partner me, but it has been a nightmare as well as a it has been, it has been a nightmare as well as a dream come true. I think equal parts. Yeah. Um, well, I'm one of those who likes to plan as much as I can. I was just telling Stephanie earlier in the week that I don't think I know anyone who is uh who plans as much as I do, you know, in my circle, however big or small my circle is. So I was just telling her that, you know, I don't think planning is my problem, or lack of, you know. But you see, um when we partnered, we also didn't know what we were going in for, and we also didn't know what we were doing at the beginning, and then we sort of worked our way through. So sometimes I can see why Steph is scared and insecure, and basically she doesn't think that she has what it takes, right? So sometimes it's not so much to do with the art, the quality of the art, but the quality of the thoughts that are going through your mind. It's not so much of the mood lah, that's what I'm trying to say. And actually Steph does pretty consistent work. Her art is pretty consistent, you know. So I'm not sure where she feels inadequate. And then our team has tried to tell her many times that it's okay, you know. So sometimes it's kind of like your own expectation of yourself as well, as opposed to, or rather alongside, you know, the expectation you feel that other people around you give you. But it's also what you think you need to have, you know, or you need to show, or you need to prove, or I mean, I hope that this discussion has shown us, or rather shown Steph, that she has matured as well, because I don't think 3 years ago when we partnered she would be able to talk about it without crying, for example, you know. And it's okay to cry. I'm not saying crying is a bad way to release. I'm just saying that, you know that you have grown, right, from reflecting on what you used to do and what has changed, right? So that's how you know you have made any progress in any direction. And I think that when she is able to talk about it, it means that some healing has taken place. So I hope that she has decided on what she wants to do and is working forward towards it, you know? Yeah.
My goodness, Susan missed out so much.
I think I know why she ran away.
She record a little snippet of Isaac's voice and then she can just play it whenever she want to run away. It's a smart idea. Susan, where you go? No lah, we tease. Yeah, back to the art. I actually done in my town. Surprised. I think it's because it's like a smaller Zendala. It's not as large as an official Zendala in my town. It's not an actual Zendala. Yeah. So I did follow the string sort of loosely. Oh, I just realized I should shade here also. Yeah, but I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Black and white shading with the little gold splatters. Yeah. I've not actually found like a gold pen that I like, so I'm not gonna try to. Maybe the pen touch, that might be nice. But I don't think I want to add any gold to this towel other than the one that's already splattered on, because it's quite nice. I like it. The black ink was a little difficult to draw on, but I survived. Yeah, because it's shellac, Debbie says. But I survived, and I like how it turned out. Very happy. Again, if you tangle along with us, do tag us on Instagram at 7forest5rivers. You can also post your towel in our Facebook group, 7F5R Challenge, or you can visit this link, bit.ly/FB7F5R. Debbie, would you like to share your tile?
No, but I want to talk about the shellac. I'm a nerd, right? So basically, the ink that we showed you, the watercolor ink, is actually it's actually not ink and not watercolor. So, but they actually do call it watercolor ink, and they have what they call Chinese ink and Indian ink in the same range. So the Indian ink is the one with a little less shellac, I think, and then the Chinese ink is the one with more shellac. So the amount of shellac gives it gloss. So if you are trying to avoid something that's too hard to draw on, or you want something more shiny, then that's when you approach the different black inks, because both are really dense and really nice to work with. It will be hard to choose, but if you know what you are looking for, then this bit of info will be helpful. I think we did a test somewhere long ago, yeah, on the inks, on the different inks, yeah. So I think today I managed to get to the point of coloring, because I have a small towel or a regular towel, so that's the only reason. I don't really like what I'm doing today though. I think it looks horrible on screen. I think it's because of the lighting as well. Can you see it, Steph? I'll think about it, but I kind of regret it. Yeah, I'll figure it out. What else I would like to share about my towel? So if you notice, what I've been doing was I've been blending pink and blue. It's because I don't have a purple. That's the only reason. Please don't be like me. Like, just go get your, yeah. I mean, like, I'm just doing it because I don't want to waste what I have by buying another pen, because I've got tons of pens all over the place, and I'm trying to sort of like finish what I have. The good thing about koi brushes is that it's water-based, so you can actually treat it like watercolor if you like. It's kind of I mean, it goes down nicely as well, directly. So I'm just going to show you what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to color this pen down yellow. So it goes down really nicely with the inbuilt brush, but it kind of looks very harsh. So I kind of like to have a water brush with just water, of course, on hand. And I kind of like blend it in to sort of soften the harshness. Of course, it depends on the look that you want. If the harsh or the brighter look is the one that you want, then maybe this is not the technique that you like. But I'm doing it because I like the little gradients that it forms, you know. So when you blend it with a water brush, of course, the amount of water will affect how dense the color comes out. And if you re-wet it, you can also lift the color sometimes. It depends on I think it depends on what paper you're using, but if you're using watercolor paper, it should reactivate because it's all water-based. You can't reactivate things like acrylic, so this is a different medium, or rather, this is why people like inks sometimes over acrylics. I'm choosing yellow because I wanted it to be outstanding, but then now I kind of regret, so I'm not sure what I'm doing anymore. Yeah, it's just one of those days, you know. Yeah, but I'm glad that we do have this session every week because it helps us connect because we're so busy working together all the entire week long that sometimes we forget to de-stress together because we're all working remotely. Steph and I connect from our studio on Wednesdays. As far as I can make it, I try to come down to the studio. But of course, I've had a couple of weeks where I had to connect from home. And of course, because of Susan's little one, she has to be based at home. So she can't connect from the studio. But having her connect from home means that she can talk at the same time as we can talk, which we can't do because we're both sharing the same audio space. Does that make sense? So sometimes it's kind of quieter without Susan, and that's the irony. Because I mean we've been laughing about it because she's typically the quiet one, but without her it's quieter. You know, like how does that work there? Yeah, yeah. So, I'm going to switch over to, well, I had enough of that yellow, right? So I'm going to switch over to this is Viridian Green. I think we issued this last year at CCTAE and I'm still trying to drain it. So good luck to me and also good luck to this blending. I hope it goes well. I think what Steph shared was also very close to home for a lot of people because it's not true that you have to be depressed to be more artistic. Please don't think that way. If you are not depressed, please don't try to be depressed just to have better art, you know. I've actually met so last time when I was at Polytechnic years and years ago, this is like the 1990s, late 90s. So when I was at Polytechnic, I knew a couple of people from the design diplomas. I didn't do design in school, so these were just my friends. And they kind of like tried to fit into a certain mold, like you know how you believe that an artist should be depressed. So at that point, I guess we were all really young and really silly, but I guess some people really believe that, you know. And I think, well, looking back, I think now that you know what a waste, you know, of your youth, right? To try and conform. If someone doesn't want to be happy, you don't have to be like them. It's your choice, right? So you be happy. I mean, right, Steph? Yeah. So I have a question for Steph, and I think she's gonna freak out. But I have a question for Steph. So she's been asking questions the entire day, and she says she's running out of questions. So I help you along, Steph. I'll give you a question. She's protesting in the background. So I think, Steph, that I should ask you for your own opinion, like because you were saying about how you have depression and then how you are kind of high anxiety and your mood affects your art. So what do you think of the past 3 years? Because I mean, in terms of your mood, right? Don't analyze the business, please. Like bring out all the financials, bring out all the charts, you know. So I just want to ask, I mean, because I think both of us, we are fairly emotional people. We are fairly empathetic people, sympathetic people. empathetic people. So I just want to ask, how much do you think you have progressed, and in which direction do you think you have progressed, and are you happy with what you have progressed? Are you happy with your progress? No, are you happy with your progress? And you know, where do you see yourself in 6 months, 1 year? Do you see yourself in a better situation, or I don't know? And I think I would like to ask this because we've been always very concerned about Stephanie, she being the youngest amongst the four of us. So we've always been trying to look after her, but she hasn't really been looking after herself because she's been stressing herself out on the side. And no one really stresses her deliberately. So yeah, so yeah, so I'm wondering actually what she actually thinks about, because the age gap is so big. Actually, among the four of us, my age is the closest to her, and we are 13 years apart. So, and then Daniel would be 15 years apart, and Susan, I won't reveal Susan's age, so I won't say. So, yeah, but Susan has a bigger gap. So my point is this: we all think that we are doing this for her, but what if she thinks that we are stressing her out, right? Yeah. So it's good to take stock. It's good to take stock. She asks us difficult questions, and so this is revenge.
Might have to like part one, part two. This week is part one. Next week I will continue on from here. Yeah, it's a very loaded question. I think also it's because Debbie and I started off as friends, and to anyone watching this either live or as a replay, partnering your best friend, I consider her my best friend. Partnering your best friend to start a business is not for the faint-hearted, because there is multiple layers of the relationship. Not only are you business partners now, but you're also friends, and then there will be times where your business sense would make it such that you feel like, oh, it's difficult. Like, for example, I had to grow as a person. I had to grow in terms of what I could do on a day-to-day basis for our business. And that growth is not easy, it's not comfortable. Growth is not meant to be comfortable, because if it's comfortable, then it's not growing, right? Stretching your limits. So there were times where, you become very angry. I don't know about Debbie, but there were times where I was like upset with her, angry with her on a purely business perspective. But I knew what she was saying made sense, But then it's like, on one hand, you're business associates, so these conversations have to be had, even though they're difficult. And then on the other hand, it's like you are also friends, so it's like you want to prioritize the friendship as well. So if you want to start a business with your friends, I urge you to really think about it. And also decide which one you treasure more, because there were times where Debbie and I discussed it, and she basically said to me, if it's really that difficult, let's just stop the business, because I would rather not risk our friendship over this business. And I think that's what a proper friend would do for you, And obviously these Instagram sessions really are becoming tell-all, man. This side of our business you won't see on a day-to-day basis, because which person in their right mind will go and I had this terrible disagreement with one of my business partners. You won't say that. I don't mind doing that, yeah, but there's not a real avenue until we started this Instagram live where we could share these things with you. But I think they are real. They are real issues.
This is like our therapy time.
Yeah, man. Join us for a therapy session every week at 2:45 p.m. Singapore time Wednesday. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, there was a lot of growth, especially in the first few years. And like Debbie said, there is an age gap. So I think, but at the same time also she jokes, we are very close friends, so she jokes that I'm a bum. I laze around and then do the bare minimum sometimes, which is true. I am a lazy person. So there was this period of growth where I had to be like, okay, that expenditure is every month. So in order to make this a viable business, a sustainable business, I have to make sure that I keep thinking into the future and time it back into my depressive state and all. There were times in my life, in my younger teenage years, where I literally believed that I would not make it past 25 years of age because I would check out of life before then. So it's, of course, very difficult to say, but it's the truth. And I think a lot of people go through this, but they don't talk about it. So I think it is valuable to talk about these things. And when you go through that kind of trauma where like you feel like, oh, you know, you're not going to live past 25. So what's the point of like making a 5-year plan? What's the point of making a 10-year plan when you're not even going to live to that age, you know? So now I'm in a much better place. Now I'm in a much happier place. I'm surrounded by people that love me, that care for me. And I can see that love through what these people do for me and do, you know, to support me. And it's really unconditional love. And a lot of people don't get that in their lifetime. They don't have people that are truly their tribe. And if you do have those kind of people in your life, you know how much of a blessing that is. And suddenly, I am faced with this dilemma where I have to plan for the future because the future is bright and beautiful and there is things to look forward to in the future. But I don't have the skills for that because I've been living my life, my entire life, just basically one day at a time. And suddenly there's this huge period of growth where, you know, you have to keep up and you have to plan ahead for the future. So that has been difficult, but I'm hoping that in the coming year, I'll get better at it, get better at planning. And then also, as Debbie was saying earlier on, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I don't want to fail the people around me. But it's always internal pressure. No one is saying, like, oh, you have to do this or you must get this done. It's just this internal fear of failing other people. And I think those are things that I have to unlearn as well. You know, it's not, as Debbie would say, it's not work harder. No one's telling you to work harder. Just work smarter and just make sure that you do things well. Do it once and do it well. Also, another thing that I was thinking of, Debbie, in the early stage of our relationship where I was trying to heal from like past trauma, I remember Debbie like saying that I had a lot of internal labels. Like I used to believe that, oh, I'm an artist and artists are all sad and depressed in order to create art. And artists are poor, you know, they cannot earn money, you know. Because if you think about like famous artists, that's like the romantic idea that you have of artists. And Debbie's
Romantic.
like this tragically romantic. Yeah, Debbie's like, it's not romantic. Yeah, but anyways, she said, you know, those are labels that you assign to yourself, but they are not who you are, you know. And then I also like went through a period where I thought about it, and I had been depressed for so long that, in a way, even though it sounds a bit weird, the sadness was comforting. And then I had this period of time where I was like, well, if I'm not a person with depression, then who am I? So you have to sort of learn to unlearn, replace those bad habits, replace those bad coping mechanisms with better ones. And that was difficult because you're trying to find a new sense of identity because you know that your previous sense of identity is not a good one, it's not a healthy one, it's not sustainable at all. It's not who you are as well. You're turning into a healthier person, a happier person. So you need to replace all of these ideals, you know? So yeah, growth is difficult. Growth is not linear. Healing is not linear as well. Yeah. So yeah, 2022. Each year I try to pick a new word for the coming year. I haven't chosen mine yet. It's already start of December. Yeah, I'm going to think about that probably. And then Debbie is saying that I should make a mind map for 2022 because I'm a visual person. So it's helpful to have all the goals and plans laid out in front of me in a visual way. So that's something that I'll be creating probably this month. I have to, otherwise it will be the start of the new year. Oh my god, every time I think about the year ending, it's like, wow, time is flying by so fast. Yeah. So yeah, don't romanticize your mental illness and don't think that that's who you are. You know, you can heal and you can grow from it and you can adopt better habits and better inner thoughts as well. Yeah, I think today's session was very interesting, Debbie. A lot of things to talk about. Yeah, and oh yeah, go ahead.
I think I know why Susan ran away. She cannot take it anymore. No, we're just kidding. I think Susan was half afraid that Isaac will wreck the whole show, so she sort of departed from us earlier. But yeah, so Steph and I are having this conversation on mental health, which I think is 3 years in the making for us, or more. We joke that it takes 3 business years. Not 3 business days, not 3 business weeks. It takes 3 business years. So when we first started out, basically we started this studio because it was Steph's dream. It wasn't my dream. So I think that puts into perspective a little bit. Like I got conned into this and then I got stuck, right? Yeah, so we joke about it all the time. So it's not something that I secretly kept away from Steph and then decided to bring it on a live show. Yeah, but well, it does sound like that. Yeah, so Steph and I are close, and we always well, I guess from an early point in our relationship, we decided, or in our friendship, which is many layers, we decided to be completely honest. And I think it's very hard for anyone to be completely honest with you. Not you, Steph, but in general, you, right? It's very hard to be honest to someone all the time, and it's very hard to take honesty from someone all the time. So I think a lot of the struggles that we faced was about communication as well, because we both grew up in different eras, and we also have very, very different backgrounds. So a lot of the time I was trying to help her, she thought I was actually judging her. And I'm trying to help her, but I felt like she was probably not getting it. And I couldn't understand why. So it took us 3 years to figure out, I guess. Yeah, so I'm glad that she can actually finally talk about it, because I think that is a huge milestone by itself. And there are a lot of times where, in life, I guess, we meet a lot of people who won't put up with that kind of honesty. And I say that from experience as well, because when I had a medical issue, I basically felt like I lost all my friends, because everyone was just so, and this was before the pandemic, so years before the pandemic. Of course, now during the pandemic, everyone is probably running on a different at a different pace, I would say. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that we are any less busy. It just means that our pace is different, and our capacity is different. Our tolerance is also different. Our mindfulness, or where we are mindful at, is also different. So at that point when I was ill, I felt like I had been abandoned by most of my friends. And there were some that I had to abandon, and some abandoned me. But I think overall, we kind of make the decisions that we inherently know are the best for us. Does that make sense? So I could be like hung up on someone who sort of ghosted me or doesn't want to talk to me anymore, but inherently I know that that person wasn't meant to be, right? So I'm not going to be hung up about what that person thinks. Or rather, I would probably be hung up for a while, but then I'll sort of like, whatever, and then we'll get over it. But a depressed person doesn't think that way, right? So a person who is depressed will ultimately link it back to self-worth issues, like, what have I done wrong, and try to fix themselves. Nothing wrong with that, because I do know of people who think that they couldn't do anything wrong, like the opposite side of the spectrum. So I guess I would say that overall, I think that depressed people actually are very mindful people. In fact, sometimes maybe too mindful to the point where they are very unforgiving to themselves, a bit harsh to themselves. Yeah. And for some time, I felt that Steph was judging herself more than anyone else. And of course, as a friend, I would tell her to stop it, because it's damaging to her, and it's also damaging to the friendship, right? Because, I mean, who wants to be friends with someone who stresses you out? But the fact was, we were not stressing her out. She was stressing herself out. And we were trying to find out ways to sort of show her, life can be better, or life isn't that stressful, or something. And half the time she didn't believe us, because that's what depression does to you. You don't believe that you are worth happiness. So I don't think it's a healthy way for anyone to live, whether or not it's worth the art or the I think I don't sorry. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that the sadder you are, the better you produce art. Uh, you know, I mean, there could be one-offs that are nicer, I suppose, but please don't make yourself depressed if you're not depressed. And please believe people when they tell you that they're trying to help you. Uh, I think I tried for 3 years to convince Steph. I don't know where she's convinced yet. Yeah, it's an internal joke as well. You know the 3 business years thing, right? Yeah. So I mean, sometimes people try and help, and then we think that we don't deserve help, and then somehow or rather we push that person away, or that person runs out of steam herself, and then that person also goes. So it's not beneficial to anyone, I guess. Yeah. So I think overall for Stephanie, she is a very talented individual, a very talented individual, a very creative person. But I have no idea why she doesn't see it for herself. So, and until now, right, I've still been trying to convince her, and it's kind of like, people think that like I'm a slave driver, because she tries to work herself to so hard. Whereas I'm like, oh, okay, you plan your own timeline, you know your own limits. And then she loves to do this thing where she rushes like crazy, and then she panics, and then the whole team panics. And yeah, so if let's say she feels that she is able to actually take a break, and if she thinks that she can sort of proceed at a slower pace, I think she might be a happier person. So I've actually proposed that to her already, and we'll see what she does with that.
Yeah, man. Very good. Probably can talk about that more next week. Now it's yeah, Susan's like next week not free, yeah. Sorry. Nah, we joke. Yeah, thank you so much for spending like what 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's been almost. Yeah, thank you so much for spending that much time with us. A recording of this session will be available on our Instagram at 7forest5rivers, and this week we're going to try to port this video also onto the 7forest5rivers YouTube channel. So if you prefer the YouTube layout, you can just try and find us there. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Next week, same time, same day, every Wednesday, 2:45 p.m. Singapore time. We're always live on Instagram. We talk about different things, sometimes more lighthearted, sometimes a bit more heavy. A bit is an understatement. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we talk about food and tangling creative things. Yeah, and always if you have any questions, you can always just pop them in chat or in our inbox as well, so that we can ask them the next week. I believe Debbie and Susan will probably be posting their tiles on their own profiles. Debbie is at tangled.pursuits. Susan, who left this Instagram live a little early, she's susanyo.czt. You can see their completed tiles on their profiles. I'm halfpen_will_draw. I will also post my tile. This is my tile for this Instagram live. It just was that we were talking so nicely that I started working on this other tile that I've prepared for next week's tea and tangle. Yeah, so one of these tangles will be featured next week. I'm excited to show you the tangle. Yeah, you can see Debbie showing you her tile. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, Debbie, would you like to say bye?
Thanks for joining us and listen to us ramble on. I think we seldom have such a serious discussion. Yeah, and so this is my tile, and I'm not sure where it will go from here, but I think I'm almost done actually. This is the first time I actually reached this point where I think it's almost done. So yay, a milestone for me. I usually take my time, so that's why. Thanks for joining us. Like Stephanie says, we are trying to port this on YouTube as well. We're not sure how it will work out, but we will try. And of course, you can connect with us on Facebook. I think that's all for today. We will see you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye, everyone.